Hi everyone, last but certainly not least in our book, we are going to be doing a lesson today. It should be a pretty quick one so we can start getting ready for some other things coming up. But we are going to be talking about choosing an appropriate data display. What I've done is I've written all of this down. In just a moment, you're going to want to pause it and you're going to want to copy the entire thing down and draw a little reminder off to the side of what each thing is. Okay? Um, we have just gone through the stem and leaf and box and whisker. And then the line plot, remember those are with the X's and the number of times something happened, like how many bikes each student has in our classroom, and maybe one person has one bike, one person has two, one person has three bikes, one person has four, all the way up. Bar graph, line graph. This is supposed to be a circle graph. Love me anyway. It doesn't look like a circle. It's deflating, but that's like a pie chart. And there's a reason we use each one. So a line plot is showing how often each number occurs. So how many ones are there? How many twos, threes, fours? So I could do that on number missed on a test. How many kids missed one? How many kids missed two? How many kids missed three? That sort of thing. So it is drawing little X's. The bar graph is used to put data into distinct categories. Okay, and while these two can be similar, and I do give some grace there, this is number of times something occurs. This is putting things into different categories. For instance, motorcycles, bicycles, four-wheelers, that sort of thing. You're looking at different categories. Line graphs are traditionally used for growth over time. Okay, so this is what I want you to remember as your time graph. I'm going to put a little clock right up here so you kind of remember. It's your time graph. Circle graphs are used for percentages or chunks of a whole. Out of the whole school, what percentage or how many, each specialist. So we only have a certain number of specialists. You can divide it up into the appropriate little chunks there. Stem and leaf plot is to organize a set of data in order. And this is the key word, to put in order. Box and whisker plot are to show the data's distribution. So you're wanting things like the median, the quartiles, the extremes, and that sort of thing. So I drew our little whiskers, box and whisker plot right there. So I'm going to use the book to show you because they have really good graphs in here. Which of these two graphs is more effective in comparing the percent of people who prefer sports stamps to the total number of people? So these are favorite subject on stamps in both cases. Both of them, this tells how many responses. But what we are looking for is the percent of people. So although you can see sports is 100 and all of that over here, this one shows the percent more readily because it's out of one whole. You can see the pie chart really well, and you can see that most people do prefer the sports. And then some of the least preferred are the people, and I don't know what the other are. If we look at example 2, you asked 20 people at a beach how many pairs of sunglasses that they own. The list below shows their responses. Make a data display that shows the spread of the data. So you're looking for how it distributes. That's what that spread means. So that's a box and whisker plot. So we put it in order. The median is 3, the lower quartile 2, upper quartile 4, but the extreme, somebody owns 10 pair of sunglasses. They're probably like me and they lose them all the time and then they find them again. And some people don't have any. Their poor eyes must be hurting. So whether the data displays organize the daily high temperature in the weather. The data displays organize the daily high temperature during a recent month in Boston, Massachusetts. Which display can you use to find the median high temperature? Well, take a look at this. This doesn't really help with a median. This helps with the median. You can use it to find if you did this, you would find that the median temperature is 56. And it's easier to see that because it displays the data in order. Okay, so what if you want to compare people preferring art stamps to people preferring animal stamps? Then which graph is more effective? So in that case, you would look at the bar graph because it already divided it into categories. Sorry. So if you're comparing the two sets, one could argue that you could compare the sizes of the pies, but since this is telling 50% and this actually tells how many, that is a more effective way to do it. I could hear an argument a little more differently if it also told you how many in each of these pies. But when you're wanting to compare two sets and the actual responses, the bar works a little bit easier. All right, you record the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit at noon for 7 days in a row. Sorry. The data are listed below. Which data display would you use to show how the temperature changed during that time? Did you hear that? Change over time. I hope that you look back at your notes and saw it is a line graph. And trying to find where they put that. Oh, well, that is in the back in my additional answers, the very last one. Here is the little data display right here. The change over time. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And notice how they did the broken thing. They went from 0 to 30, 35, 40, 45. So watch that too. This isn't misleading, but it does show the change a little more readily because you have that broken scale at the bottom there. Let me know if you have any questions. This one is traditionally one of our easier lessons. It is so super important that you have this written down, and you may use this on both your quiz and your test along with your box and whisker plot notes, because I recognize that that's a little bit more complicated. But look at the wording here to determine which graph is the most appropriate display. Have a great lesson. It's a fun one. You have made it through a 13 chapter book, and I am so proud of each of you.